I don't know about you, but my stash of birthday cards gets low very quickly. If you find yourself in need of quick and easy but bright and happy birthday cards, then this video is for you. Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. In today's video, I am unboxing and creating with the Simon Says Stamp card kit, Let's Celebrate. This is such a bright and colorful birthday kit, but I think the best part about it is how easy it is to quickly put together a whole bunch of cards. So let's just dive right in and unbox this kit first. Let's start out by taking a look at what comes inside the kit, and I will link to the kit down below, but I will also link to individual supplies in the kit. These are the confetti that came inside the kit, and they also have the little triangle tray from Simon Says Stamp that you can keep them in so that while you're choosing which ones you want to use, you have an assortment right on your desk without having them spill all over your desk like I just did there. Just be a little more careful than I am when you pour them out, but they are a bright, happy color. There's also an envelope, and you get this die set that cuts out the letters happy birthday and then the shadow. There's also an embossing folder, and this is a 3D embossing folder with these amazing flower details. Wait until you see this embossed out. It is so much fun. There's a piece of glitter cardstock, and then there is pattern paper. These are from Vicki Boutin, and they are just amazing. Tons of rainbows, which you know makes me so happy, and I know it makes a bunch of you really happy as well. And these are 6x8, so you can cut them down into card size or smaller to mat on top of some of the cardstock that comes in. I love that cloud pattern. There are so many options here, and these aren't necessarily birthday themed, so you could use them for other themes as well. There are these 3x4 cards that are perfect for like pocket page scrapbooking, but I like to use them right on an A2 card. And there is a 6x8 stamp set. Now there are dies available for this stamp set, but it didn't come in the kit. There are some bright colors of cardstock as well as a rainbow 8.5x11 metallic paper. Now that you've seen the kit, let's throw together a bunch of quick and easy birthday cards. Okay, for this first card, I am going to do what I mentioned. I'm going to cut down the 3x4 cards from the pattern paper. I also like to cut all my cardstock down to A2 sizes. So I have all the cardstocks, including the rainbow metallic, cut down to 4.25 by 5.5. That helps me quickly and easily grab cardstock to create cards. So I'm going to use part of the rainbow metallic paper inside the 3D embossing folder. This embossing folder is so thick that I needed to use it with a clear plate rather than the adapter plate in the universal platform that I have for the spellbinders. I am going to use this open part of the 3x4 card to stamp happy birthday from the sentiment, and then I am just going to trim down that metallic cardstock to 4 by 5.25 so I can mat it on some pink cardstock, and then I am going to mat the 3x4 card on some of the pink cardstock as well, so everything looks really consistent, but it literally came together in minutes because all it was embossing and then layering. Okay, I loved the look of that embossed metallic so much that I'm going to do it again. And you can see that in one, I had it with the flowers kind of facing down and the one with the flowers facing up. And that gives you two different looks for the cardstock and how it embosses. So play around with that because you might like both of them. I am going to do the same exact thing I did before, only this time in blues. So this time I'm going to mat on the blue cardstock and then mat the 3x4 card on the blue cardstock as well. I'm just using tape runner to speed up the process here. So if you normally use liquid glue and you want to get a bunch of cards done really quickly, I would definitely recommend the Memory Runner XL. It is a great tape runner. Okay, so next card, I'm going to grab another one of the 3x4 cards. This has got a big speech bubble, and I'm going to stamp the large happy birthday on it. I love that open happy birthday. Yes, you could color it in. No, I'm not going to because I am going quickly here. So I'm going to cut down that cloud looking pattern paper to 4 by 5 1/4, and this time I'm going to mat it on some white cardstock. Since I have the 3 by 4 card has a bunch of white on it, I thought that would be perfect. This time though, I am going to pop it up. Again, having something handy like foam tape where you can make it different sizes really quickly and easily is great for fast cards. Okay, now this does take a few minutes, but since the rest of the card is so simple, I thought I would just adhere some of the sequins from the kit down to outside the 3 by 4 card and adhere them down with some liquid glue. So that will take a few minutes, but it really doesn't take much time at all, especially when the rest of the card came together in like, you know, a minute and a half or something crazy like that. So just adds a little bit of dimension, adds a little bit of fun to this card. And I love the sprinkles from kind of top left corner to bottom right. Okay, this one I am going to use a strip of pattern paper. So if you're looking to save some of your favorite patterns, think about just using strips on a card. And then I am going to stamp an image and a sentiment on the white cardstock next to that strip of pattern paper. And again, I'm not going to color that in. It's so cute just next to that colorful pattern paper. Could you color it in? Of course you could. But if you're looking to save time, think about using black and white images next to bright colors of pattern paper and maybe even sequins. So I'm going to add little dots to the cupcake, and then I'm going to add little stars from the sequins mix, and I have them in that tray there so I can pick them out. And that's it. Call it a day. You don't have to color everything in just because it's an open image. I did want to use the dies, so I cut out the happy birthday letters out of a strip of pink cardstock. I'm just going to pop those out, and then I'm going to put some adhesive behind that strip and lay it down on an embossed piece of white cardstock that's 4 by 5 1/4 so that I can mat that on some of the rainbow pattern paper. Now, this card took a couple of extra seconds because I did want to adhere the insides of the letters so they weren't just floating open spaces of the D, the R, the B, the P's, and the A. And then I did do a smattering of sequins from the top right corner down to the bottom left corner in a nice diagonal. Like the way that looks, just kind of flowing along the card, and it kind of brings your eye around the card as well, but still very simple, very easy. So the next card I am going to do one of my favorite tips and tricks with embossing folders is to use a brayer and some Distress Oxide ink. And I have a ton of embossing folder tips and tricks, so I'll link to those videos up in the corner and down in the YouTube description box below the video. So with the brayer, you want to roll the brayer and pick it up. That's going to add the ink to the brayer, and then you just roll it along the embossing folder inside. And these inks are water reactive. It's not going to ruin your embossing folder. You'll be able to rinse it right off. Then I'm going to put my paper inside and I'm going to run it through, and it kind of does that debossed look with the ink pressed in like an ink press. So it is just a different look to that embossing folder, which is so great that you can get so many effects from it. I'm going to adhere that down to some of the pattern paper. And then I'm going to use a different 3 by 4 card. So this time it is not a birthday card. It could be if you wanted it to be, but it just says "You are my sunshine." I thought that was bright and happy, just to show you that there are options other than birthdays if you want to use this kit in other ways. Okay, for my next card, this is really, really quick and easy. I am going to stamp and heat emboss a sentiment on some of the rainbow pattern paper with some white embossing ink, powder, and then just lay that over some blue cardstock. That's it. Because the pattern paper is so amazing, you don't have to do much more. This time I cut out the shadow of the happy birthday out of the pink glitter paper, and now I'm layering the letters on top. So that's going to cut out the layers out of the shadow. Then I cut out the shadow out of white cardstock. So I'm going to layer the glitter over the white, and then I'm going to put the centers back in the letters again because that just drives me a little crazy. And this is a really cute little die that came in this kit. So once I had that all ready to go, I just trimmed down some pattern paper, again, matted it on some of the bright cardstock in the kit. Everything coordinates really, really well, and it's all very bright and happy, perfect for birthday cards, and then just popped up that die cut that I had created. For this card, this one's gonna take a little more time because we're gonna make a shaker. You have to make a shaker when you got sequins in the kit, right? So I'm gonna do some stamping and heat embossing on my pattern paper, which is already matted on some A2 cardstock. So I'm going to stamp multiple images from the stamp set because I did want you to see a few more of the images. I'd used a lot of the sentiments, but there were some really cute images. So there are some balloons, cakes. We've already done the cupcake. There's just a lot of really cute birthday images in here and celebratory images. So I am stamping a few of them. Oh, and there's also strings for the balloons. So I'm going to stamp all of that. You can see there's plenty of time to stamp multiple images and your Versamark will still stay wet enough to add your white embossing powder on top. So once I cover the whole thing, because now I've got multiple images on here, I'm going to pour off the rest. You can see I sort of misfired as far as the one string. So all you have to do is wipe that powder off and it won't heat set when you heat set the rest of the images and it will look perfect. So if your string ends up inside your balloon like mine did, don't worry, just brush it away. You can use a fine paintbrush or you can just, like I did, use your finger. So now I have doubled up foam tape. I wanted it a little thicker so that the shaker goodies have enough room to move around. I normally just do one layer, but 2 layers is pretty easy to achieve by doubling that up. And I'm just going to make a rectangle around the image that I stamped inside. And then I'm going to pour a bunch of the sequins in the middle of that shaker box that we just created. I have a frame that I die cut with 2 rectangle dies, and I'm just going to lay that on top of some Judikins embossable acetate. I use that embossable acetate all the time, even if I'm not embossing on it, because it's already cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to peel off the top protective layers of that foam tape, and then all I have to do is carefully line up and lay down the window on the outside. Super easy though, super easy to create this little shaker because it's all rectangular. It's really easy to line up the tape. I did stamp a sentiment from the stamp set in black ink on white cardstock, and I'm gonna put that to the outside of the window, and then you can see the time to party and the balloons and the cake on the inside of the window. If you're curious why I subscribe to Simon Says Stamps kits, I have a video about it and I will link to that here. As always, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. Together a bunch of birthday cards. Okay, one more time. Happy birthday, kid? Okay. That was fast.